Want the easiest way to level Harlowe from 1 to 50? This Flux Generator setup is a strong, beginner-focused leveling build with big AoE and high uptime that works with common drops. I'll show you exact skills, gear, and farm routes, plus backups if RNG hates you. It's built for leveling, not in-game boss meta. Expect safe, consistent, and fast progress with good damage. What's up, Vault Hunters and Sweats? BiggySweats here. Today we're breaking down my Flux Generator build for Harlowe, designed for beginners leveling from 1 to 50. Here's why I chose Flux Generator. It's simple, reliable, and strong. Perfect for first-time players. You get a bubble that damages enemies, shields, heals you and your team, and boosts elemental effects. That's everything you need while learning the game. Some of the pros are that it's got big AoE crowd control, safe survivability, and it works with common elemental drops. No farming legendaries required, but they do help. Some of the cons: boss fights can take a little longer compared to meta DPS builds, and you'll be playing around your bubble placement. However, with some of these really broken attachments, ordnance, and everything like that, sometimes your build really doesn't even matter. But overall, for new players, it's the most consistent leveling path, in my opinion, for Harlowe. Alright, here's the quick start version if you just want to get going right now. Skills. First, put points into momentum for extra gun damage. The main's hum for survivability. After that, grab neutron decay and mass function to speed up reloads and boost damage. The augments at level 6 take coronal mass ejection. It strips enemy resistances and boosts ally status effects. At level 16, swap to unified theory for big action skill damage. The capstone, eventually you'll grab potential transference. This lets you teleport your Flux Generator, drop shock damage, and heal allies. Some of the gear: use a Maliwan SMG. Any elemental works, but radiation is best when you find one. For your shield, grab a fireworks if it drops from splash zone. Otherwise, run any overshield or cooldown shield. And for an ordnance, if you don't have the penetrator knife yet, as this makes any build incredibly strong, it doesn't even matter what you're running, farm the swarm grenade from General Anger in the Kairos drill site. With those basics, you'll be shredding mobs and staying alive without relying on rare loot. So we had the quick start section and now the actual skill progression from 1 to 50. So your early game 1 to 10. Start with momentum for bonus gun damage. Then grab main's hum for survivability. Next, put points into neutron decay for stacking gun damage and mass function for faster reloads. At this stage, you'll feel stronger with just a basic elemental SMG. Then we're going into mid game 11 to 25. Now pick up confirmative reality to reduce action skill cooldown for you and your allies, and resonance cascade to boost Flux Generator's damage. After that, unlock decoherence that makes entangled enemies take extra increased damage. And then feedback loop, which adds more action skill buffs whenever you entangle enemies. Together, these make your Flux Generator way more impactful. And then finally, late game, so 26 to 50. Round out the build with run ray reaction for passive entanglement procs. Then fill into fuzzy math for status effect chance, elementary for elemental and status damage, and test subject for cooldown rate. Whenever you apply a status effect, finally, grab the capstone potential transference. This lets you teleport your Flux Generator, deal shock burst, heal allies, and even grant a second wind in co-op. Let's talk augments and capstone, because these make a big difference. At level 6, take coronal mass injection. It removes enemy resistances and increases status effect chance for everyone in your Flux Generator. This is great for early game and co-op play. At level 16, swap it for unified theory. This scales your action skill damage based on how many enemies and allies are inside the Flux Generator, and it carries much better into mid game and late game. Finally, your capstone is potential transference. This lets you teleport your Flux Generator to wherever you aim, causing a shock burst, healing allies, and even giving 3-second wins. This completely changes how you play. Now you can aggressively reposition your bubble and turn fights around for you and your teammates. Next is going to be the core gear breakdown. Let's start with guns. These are 4 weapons to look out for while leveling Harlowe, or if you want to target farm them. We want a Maliwan SMG, ideally Hellfire. Fast fire rate, perfect for applying status effects inside your Flux Generator. Hellfire is the standout legendary drop from Lambit Mine in Cuspid Climb, Terminus range, but honestly, any Maliwan SMG will carry you while leveling. 2 is Igun's Dream. It's a Vladov assault rifle, great for sustained DPS and very beginner friendly. You can farm it from Horus in the Fade fields. 3 would be the Hot Slugger Jacobs shotgun. Perfect for close range burst and clearing chunky enemies. Drops from Callus at Kraven's Nook or the bunker in the Terminus range. Finally, number 4 is the Katagara's Revenge. It's a Maliwan sniper rifle. Good range option. It spawns elemental discs that spread damage. Great for crowd control. This is one more of a world drop and worth slotting in if you find it. For your class mod, you want the Rocket Scientist. It automatically entangles irradiated enemies, which fits this build perfectly. This is Harlowe's best in slot leveling mod. Next, shields, you want Fireworks. It's your priority farm. It's from Splash Zone, really easy to get early legendary. It spawns missiles on kill, making mobbing even easier. If you don't have it, just grab an overshield or cooldown reduction shield from the vendors. Both keep you alive while your Flux Generator cycles. For ordnance, the meta pick is the Penetrator Knife, a purple random world drop knife. It makes all damage crit for 5 seconds. It's a very cheese item. If you can get this, it makes any build strong, almost any gun better, and if you combine this with other cheese weapons, then you just go crazy. But since that can be a tough find and it's very RNG, farm the Swarm Grenade from General Anger in the Karas drill site. It spawns drones that auto attack, applying tons of status ticks. If you're really unlucky though, any radiation auto grenade will still do the job, since they auto seek and synergize with your passives. Finally, enhancements. Look for a Maliwan synthesizer, which boosts status and elemental damage for Maliwan weapons. Other good rolls are cooldown reduction or crit damage. Don't stress farming these early. Just slot what you find and upgrade as you go. You've got a good base here. Now let's talk cheese weapons. I wanted to include this section because I believe that everyone out there is showing off these crazy builds that use the Penetrator Knife or one of these super crazy attachments on these guns. Things like any shotgun with a spread launcher alt fire, the Oscar Mike Space Laser assault rifle, the linebacker shotgun with bouncing projectiles, the Rainbow Vomit elemental shotgun, or even the Hellfire SMG. And don't forget the Fireworks shield. It's not even a gun, but it basically plays the game for you when mobs die. These weapons are always strong. They one-shot packs, melt bosses, and don't need synergy with your skills. In fact, a lot of these so-called meta builds you'll see online are just a Penetrator Knife stacked with one of these cheese items to pump insane damage, comboed with maybe some crit skills. For this guide, you don't need them, but if you find one, just slot it in. It'll make leveling 10 times easier and killing bosses crazy cool. Now, this is a beginner guide and a leveling one at that, so let's talk farming. You don't need to grind hard, but there are a few smart ways to level fast and pick gear along the way. First, do side missions and bounties. They double dip, so you get XP for completion, XP for enemies you kill along the way. Don't skip them if you want smoother progression. Second, farm drill sites. These world events spawn waves of mobs, which is perfect for Harlowe's Flux Generator. Drop your bubble, clear the waves, and walk away with piles of XP and loot. Third, named bosses. If you want to target farm gear, Horus in the Fade Fields for Aegon's Dream, Callus at Kraven's Nook for the Hot Slugger, General Anger at Karras' Drill Site for the Swarm Grenade, and finally, always check vendors. Vendors often stock auto grenades, Maliwan SMGs, and even shields with cooldown reduction. They refresh regularly, so grab upgrades whenever you can, as money's pretty easy to come by. Do those 4 things and you'll be over-leveled, geared up, and ready to cruise to 50 without getting stuck. Now, after all of that jazz, here's how you actually play this build. Just repeat this simple loop. Step 1, deploy your Flux Generator before fights. Drop it where you and your team can stand inside for shields and heals. Step 2, stand in the bubble for safety and uptime. Step out only when you want radiation buffs or to reposition. Step 3, spray your Maliwan SMG or AR to apply elemental status effects and feed your cooldown skills. Use your shotgun for close range burst and sniper for long range. Step 4, throw your ordnance. Penetrator Knife for crit windows or swarm drones for extra status procs, especially on elites and bosses. Step 5, reposition your Flux Generator with the capstone potential transference. Teleport it onto packs or bosses to deal shock damage and keep allies alive. Rinse and repeat. It's simple, it's consistent. You're always shielded, always dealing AoE damage, and always resetting your cooldowns. Now let's cover a few common mistakes beginners make with this build so you don't fall into the same traps. Number 1, forgetting to swap Augments. Take Coronal Mass Ejection at level 6, but don't forget to switch to Unified 30 at 16. A lot of new players miss this and lose a big power spike. Number 2, not redeploying your Flux Generator. With the capstone, you should be teleporting it onto enemies for shock burst and heals. Don't just drop it once and ignore it. Number 3, running outdated gear. Borderlands punishes you hard for holding onto low level guns. Even if you love a legendary, replace it if it's way under leveled. Let's hit a few quick FAQs, as I know a lot of new players might have clicked into this video. So do I need a radiation gun for this build to work? No. Any elemental Maliwan SMG will carry you. Radiation is best once you find one, but don't wait around for it and don't hold on to one for no reason. Is the penetrating knife required? Not at all. It's very, very strong, but again, it's very cheese. But you can farm the swarm grenade instead, or just use a radiation auto grenade until something better drops. Can I respec into a different build later? Absolutely. This setup is designed for 1 to 50. Once you hit Ultimate Vault Hunter mode or start boss farming, you can respec into a crit or a burst damage meta build. And that's the full beginner-friendly Flux Generator build for Harlowe, covering everything you need to go from level 1 to 50. Skills, augments, core gear, farming tips, and even the cheese weapons that break the game. Remember, this isn't an endgame meta DPS setup. It's built for safe, consistent leveling, and it's one of the strongest ways to learn Harlowe as a first-time player. If this build helped you out, hit a like so more Vault Hunters can find it, and subscribe for more Borderlands builds. Drop a comment and let me know what your best cheese drop so far has been. I'd love to hear it. Next, I'll be covering Harlowe's Ultimate Vault Hunter mode boss farming builds, and if you're heading into endgame, stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. I'm BiggySweats. Check us out over on twitch.tv/BiggySweats, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!